Hi, my name is not important right now. What is important is this one terrifying question. Why did half of Los Angeles burn to the ground? Not because of the fire, but because there wasn't enough water to fight it. Let that sink in. Not enough water. In the richest city, in the richest state, in the richest country in the world, helicopters grounded, hydrants bone dry, and hundreds of families gone. Their homes reduced to ash and rubble. And while they screamed for help, while they prayed for rain that never came, the deep state sat back and let it happen. Because chaos keeps them in power. Because water, just like oil, just like electricity, is being turned into a weapon. Look, I know how crazy this sounds, but before I go any further, I need you to know something. This video, this page, this entire message may not be here tomorrow. I've already been flagged twice. My hosting account's been threatened. One of the guys I shared this tech with gone completely dark after getting an unmarked letter taped to his door. And once you see what I'm about to show you, you'll understand why they want this buried. So if you're watching this right now, pay attention, take notes, and for God's sake, don't wait. Because the second this threatens the wrong people's money, they'll pull the plug without warning. And yeah, I know exactly how it sounds. I didn't believe it at first either, until I found out the truth. Because a few years ago, I was just another guy. A husband, a dad, trying to keep my family safe in a world that felt like it was coming unglued. Until the fire came. It tore through the valley like the wrath of God. The air was thick with smoke. The sky looked like war, embers falling like hell's own snowflakes. And the craziest part? Everyone else was watching their homes burn to the ground. But my yard was soaking wet. My wife was hosing down the roof. My kids were filling buckets. Because unlike the others, I wasn't hooked up to the city's water lines. I didn't need the grid. I didn't need permission. And I sure as hell didn't need to beg for help, because months before, I had built something. You see, my uncle was a combat engineer in the Marines. He did 2 tours in Afghanistan, one in Djibouti, one off the coast of Diego Garcia, the black sites. He saw things most men aren't allowed to talk about. I wasn't always close with my Uncle Jack. He was the kind of man who didn't talk unless he had something worth saying. Military all the way, high and tight haircut, iron t-shirts, a handshake like steel cable. But underneath all that was a kind of sadness. After he got back from deployment, he moved into a tiny off-grid cabin on the edge of state land. Didn't watch the news, didn't use the internet, just books, radio, shortwave chatter. Said he didn't trust the towers. I used to think it was PTSD. Maybe he'd just seen too much. But now, I know he knew something. Because the last time I saw him, a few weeks before the crash, he looked me dead in the eye and said, "You ever notice how they never run out of water at the Pentagon?" I laughed it off. He didn't. He just shook his head and told me, "If anything ever happens to me, look in the glove box." That was the last thing he ever said to me. A week later, his Jeep went off the road on a clear day. No ice, no fog, no witnesses. The coroner called it a routine accident. No autopsy, no toxicology, cremated before we could even ask why. His house was cleared out before we could pack it up. His old ham radio equipment, gone. His hard drive, missing. The only thing left was the Jeep. And when I opened that glove box, hands still shaking, throat dry, I found a weathered manila folder wrapped in plastic under some old bills. On the front, confidential, U.S. Marine Engineering Corps, OPSEC Level 4. Inside, blueprints, technical sheets, logbooks, and the letter scrawled in pencil barely legible. If you're reading this, I'm gone. This was never supposed to be found. They buried it. I dug it back up. Atmospheric water generator, based on Subtech, adapted from ISS recovery systems. They called it a strategic threat, said free water would collapse the market. They shut the project down in 2003, took our patents, our lab, our people. But I took this. Then at the very bottom, circled twice, never let them make you thirsty. That was the moment I knew. These weren't some plans. This wasn't just a machine. This wasn't about prepping or survival gear. This was a message. This was a lifeline. This was the last gift of a dead man who refused to be silenced. And it was now my job to finish what he started. Because what was in that folder, they weren't just sketches. They were schematics, diagrams, engineering notes, data logs for a classified atmospheric water generator based on the same tech used in Navy submarines and deep space NASA missions. I didn't understand it at first, but what I knew deep in my gut was that this wasn't meant for me. It wasn't meant for anyone. Because what it offered was too powerful, too disruptive. It was a way to get free water, pure water, endless water. No pipes, no billing cycle, no surveillance, no government strings. Just you, the air, and a simple device that produces up to 40 gallons a day from humidity alone. Water had been on my mind for years. I don't live in LA. It wasn't the fire that burned the Palisades. I live in a smaller community, still in California. I'm not going to name it for reasons you can probably imagine. But years before my uncle's folder landed on my lap, the severe drought, the restrictions, the fires pushed me to look for a way to keep my family safe and water secure. And I did what everyone else does. I went looking for a real solution. And just like you probably have, I ran into the same walls over and over again. First, I looked at bottled water. Thought maybe I'd just stockpile a few dozen cases in the garage. But here's the math. 3 gallons per day per person. Family of 4 equals 12 gallons a day. That's 360 gallons a month. Do you know how much plastic and space that takes up? Not to mention the cost. And guess what? Most bottled water is just filtered municipal tap anyway, loaded with the same microplastics and contaminants you're trying to escape. You're not stockpiling purity. You're stockpiling lies. Then I looked into rainwater catchment. Sounded great. Seems simple. But with the mega drought we're in, you already know. Rain doesn't come when you need it. Or it doesn't come at all. For months on end. And when it does, most states heavily regulate how much you can collect. Some ban it completely. And even when you do store it, you need barrels, pumps, filters, covers, chemicals. It turns into a full-time job for a trickle. Plus, here's the kicker. The water you're catching off your roof is loaded with toxins, shingles, mold, bird crap. It's not clean and it's not reliable. I even looked into well drilling. But unless you've got $12,000 to $20,000 to throw at a professional crew, and you live on land where drilling is legal, and you hit an aquifer that isn't dried out or contaminated, you're screwed. Not to mention, water rights are still state-owned in most areas, which means they can come and cut you off even if you drilled it yourself. That's when it hit me. There is no approved solution. Everything they offer either keeps you on a leash or bleeds you dry. The only way out is off the map. And that meant building something the deep state couldn't track, couldn't tax, and couldn't shut down. The very thing my uncle died to protect. And whatever we did, whatever we tried to secure water, people kept suffering. The more I looked around, the clearer it became. This wasn't just about prepping anymore. This was about survival, about dignity, about not watching your family suffer while you stand there with nothing in your hands but guilt. You ever seen a grown man cry over a faucet? Not because the water was cold, not because it tasted like bleach and rust, but because nothing came out, not a single drop. The sink hissing like a dying snake, and you just stayed there, staring, wondering if this was really it. The moment we go back to the dark ages. This wasn't just me. It wasn't just my hometown. It wasn't just LA. It was the entire Southwest, shriveling up like a raisin under God's blowtorch. This is the mega drought. And if you haven't heard that term before, you will. Because it's not just California anymore. It's not just the Southwest. It's spreading, engulfing the whole nation. They don't talk about it on the news, not unless they're forced to. But it's already worse than the Dust Bowl, with half the rainfall and double the temperature spikes. The Colorado River drying up like a puddle in Phoenix. Lake Mead vanishing before our eyes. Oroville, mud and dead fish. Farmers getting zero water allotments. Researchers selling off cattle by the thousands because they can't hydrate them. And cities, actual American cities, rolling out military-level water rationing. Do you know what the mayor of one town told his people? If you water your lawn, we'll fine you. If you fill a kiddie pool, we'll cut your line. If you get caught showering for more than 3 minutes, we're coming to your door. That's not conservation, that's control. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't just bad luck with the weather. Yeah, weather plays a part, but it's not the main culprit. This was a chokehold. A slow, deliberate tightening of the noose. They don't want you growing your own food. They don't want you collecting rainwater. They don't want you washing freely, living clean, staying independent. Because whoever controls the water controls the people. And that's when I knew that plans I found, the device detailed in the schematics in my uncle's Jeep, it wasn't just a science experiment, it was a weapon, a way to fight back. I knew I had to build it, but the first time I tried, I almost gave up. Because the instructions were technical, military grade. The kind of thing only an engineer or a defense contractor would understand. And I almost threw it all in the trash. Until one night, I heard my daughter coughing in her sleep. That dry, brittle cough that sounds like paper tearing. And I remembered what I'd seen on the last water quality report from our tap. Arsenic, chlorine, lead, pharmaceuticals, microplastics. Things we're told are safe in small amounts. Except the small amounts are getting bigger. And the safety is a goddamn lie. So I sat back down, pulled out the papers, took a deep breath, and said to myself, I don't care how hard this is. I'm going to finish what he started. I'm going to save my family. It started in my garage. No white coat, no fancy tools, just a busted Craftsman toolbox, a camping lantern, and a stack of military blueprints soaked in coffee stains and time. The first few pages didn't even make sense. A diagram of a heat exchanger, a coil system labeled adsorption phase, and condensate return line. Numbers, symbols, stuff I hadn't seen since high school physics, if ever. I wanted to quit, but I kept hearing my uncle's voice in my head. The simplest machines are always the most powerful. If it works in a submarine under 3,000 feet of water, it'll work anywhere. So I made a plan. Simplifying everything, translating the schematics into normal human English, page by page, one step at a time. And somewhere around 2 a.m. on a Wednesday, covered in sweat and fiberglass, something clicked. It wasn't just theoretical anymore. It was real. I built a condenser coil out of aluminum tubing from an old fridge, used a couple salvaged computer fans to pull airflow across the intake, built a sealed tank from a plastic food-safe barrel. It looked like crap. It looked like something out of a post-apocalyptic meth lab, but it was mine. A working prototype of an atmospheric water generator, AWG for short. It pulled air in, cooled it down, and trapped the condensation into a holding tank. And then, that first drop. Drip, drip, drip. Like the tick of a clock kicking down to a new world. I held the cup under the spout. I know this sounds insane, but when I tasted that water, crisp, cold, pure, it felt like drinking electricity. It was the first thing I had created in years that truly mattered. No chlorine, no metals, no micro anything. Just air, transformed into life. My wife thought I was losing it, until she saw the whole pitcher fill up. Until the next morning when I made coffee with it and she said it tasted better than bottled spring. Until I told her, this isn't a gadget, this is our insurance policy. And then she understood, because we'd both seen how bad it had gotten. The boil water orders, the days the taps ran brown, the stories out of Flint, out of Jackson, out of Compton, kids breaking out in rashes, elderly folks passing out from dehydration during blackouts. And that was before the fires. Yes, the fires. It happened fast, faster than anyone expected. We'd had dry spells before, red flag warnings sure, but nothing like this. The day started hot, not wear shorts and grill in the backyard hot, I mean hell's front porch hot. The air was thick and brittle. It felt like the atmosphere itself wanted to snap. And when the first spark lit, somewhere past the ridge, maybe a tossed cigarette or a downed wire, it was already too late. The hills lit up like gasoline-soaked paper, a wall of flame. People screamed, dogs ran loose, sirens echoed from every direction. But nobody came close. The hydrants didn't work. The pumps were dry. And the local water board had all the gall to tweet, due to emergency conservation orders, firefighting efforts may be delayed. Delayed? People were burning alive. I could see smoke rolling in like a black tide, swallowing street signs, rising above rooftops like a mushroom cloud. My neighbor's roof ignited in seconds. The asphalt cracked under the heat. The trees sounded like bones breaking as they exploded from within. And while everyone else stood helpless, while grown men cried in front of their kids, unable to do a goddamn thing, I turned on the system. The generator hummed, the tank pressurized. I hooked the hose to the output valve and soaked my roof first, then the gutters, then the walls, then the lawn. My wife grabbed the second hose, drenched the fences, the shed, the trees. The kids filled every bucket, jug, and container we had. We soaked towels and stuffed them in the vents. And as the flames came close enough to feel on our skin, our house stayed wet. I don't care if you think it sounds made up. I wouldn't believe it either if I hadn't lived it. But if you look it up, you'll see people who've saved their homes the same way I did. People like us, who had what we had. And while 3 houses on our block burned to the foundation, ours stayed standing. Because we had water when no one else did. Because we didn't need the city. We didn't need the grid. We didn't ask permission. We just turned on the machine and fought back. The next morning, the sky was ash. The air still smelled like melted tires and sorrow. But our home was still there, and my family was alive. And in that moment, standing in a smoke-stained yard with my kids safe and my house still standing, I knew I'd made the right call. The firefighters came by 2 days later. They looked at my place, green lawn, wet roof, intact walls, and just shook their heads. One of them whispered, "How the hell did you get water?" I just looked at him and said, "I built something." After the fire, the neighborhood looked like a war zone. Burnt out shells of houses, charred cars melted to the pavement, mailbox posts like tombstones jutting from black earth. But our house, it stood like a middle finger to the whole damn system. And that's when the phone calls started. Neighbors, friends, strangers. Some whispered, some cried. All of them asked the same thing. "How the hell did you do it?" At first, I kept quiet. I was still shaken. Still half convinced someone from the government would knock on my door and take the thing away. Because the tech I used, you were never supposed to see it. Buried inside the manila envelope, tucked behind the last schematic, there was a second letter in my uncle's chicken scratch script. It said, "The atmospheric system we built in the core, it worked. Too well. They called it a strategic threat. Said free water would destabilize certain markets." Markets? He didn't mean agriculture. He meant corporations. Nestle, Coca-Cola, the bottled water mafia. The deep state doesn't want you making water out of thin air. Because if you can drink, cook, wash, grow food, put out fires, without them, you're free. And if you're free, they can't control you. That's why these systems are classified. That's why the Navy doesn't talk about how submarines get clean water in the middle of the ocean. That's why no one ever asks what astronauts drink on the ISS. Because they don't want you asking. But I couldn't stay silent anymore. I started rewriting the plans, simplifying the steps, turning military jargon into clear kitchen table instructions. I didn't post it online, hell no. I shared it person to person. Off-grid forums, encrypted email lists, a friend of a friend, a cousin, a guy who knows a guy. And every time someone built one, every time they sent me a photo of clean, cold water pouring out of their machine, I felt like I was punching the beast in the mouth. There was the retired mechanic in Tucson who built his unit with parts from an old dehumidifier and a window AC unit. He sent me a video of his wife watering their tomatoes, middle of July, 108 degrees, and said, "I haven't bought a case of bottled water in 6 months." Then there was a single mom in Waco. Her kid kept breaking out in rashes after every bath. She built the system in 2 weekends with her brother, filtered the output, and wrote, "His skin cleared up in 3 days. I cried when I filled his first glass." One guy in Idaho built 2 units, one for daily use, the other buried in a steel drum on his property. Insurance policy, he called it. When it hits the fan, I'm not dying of thirst. Another was a firefighter in Northern California. Said he used the guide to retrofit his cabin. Last season, the department ran dry fighting a brush fire, but my rig kept pulling water. I kept fighting even after they pulled back. You saved more than just my house, man. And then there was Maria in New Mexico, retired nurse, widow, lives alone with her 2 dogs. She messaged me the day the city issued a 3-day water ban. My neighbors were boiling pool water. I was drinking clean. You gave me my dignity back. They're everywhere now, quiet, off the grid, untraceable. No fanfare, no ads, just water freedom, spreading like wildfire. And every time I read one of those messages, I felt this quiet rage rise up inside me. Not because of what they'd built, but because they had to build it in the first place. Because this wasn't just a gadget, it was a declaration of independence. And the best part? It cost me less than $106 to build. Less than your monthly grocery bill. Less than a used iPhone. Less than the funeral flowers we almost had to buy. And since then, I haven't paid a single water bill. I don't buy bottled, I don't ration showers, I don't give a damn what the route orders say, because I have water on demand, whenever I want it, wherever I go. One night, about 6 weeks after the fire, the power went out again. Transformer blew during a heat wave. No AC, no lights, and of course, no water pressure. The grid was down and the pipes were empty. But inside our house, the dog's bowl was full, and my wife was in the kitchen rinsing dishes with fresh, cold water from a system we built ourselves. That moment, that's when it truly hit me. This wasn't just some backup for when the world goes crazy. This was everyday freedom. No surprises, no shortages, just water. Clean, reliable, untouchable. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sounds amazing, man, but I'm not an engineer. I don't have classified documents in my glove box. I don't even own a damn drill. That's exactly what I thought, too. But that's the part they don't want you to understand. This tech was never supposed to be complicated. NASA made it simple because astronauts don't have time to fix broken plumbing in orbit. The Navy built it sturdy because lives depend on it beneath 3,000 feet of crushing black water. And my uncle, God rest him, refined it so that guys like us could build it with junk from the garage. And that's what I want to give you now. The same system I used to save my family from the fire. The same design I've shared with off-grid farmers, survivalists, homesteaders, and regular dads like me. A system that creates up to 40 gallons of clean, drinkable water a day right out of thin air. No well drilling, no rain barrels, no connection to the water grid, and absolutely no more bending over for the deep state-controlled utilities. I call it SmartWaterBox. Inside, I break it all down. The exact blueprints I decoded from my uncle's military files. The full materials list, most of which you already have or can get cheap at Home Depot. The step-by-step instructions that walk you through the build. No guesswork, no figuring it out as you go. Safety notes that show you how to purify and store your water long-term, and even a troubleshooting checklist in case you want to upgrade or scale it out. And let me be crystal clear here. This isn't some $3,000 survival generator that breaks after 2 seasons. It's not one of those atmospheric humidifiers you see on Amazon that pump out 2 cups of lukewarm mist and need a filter every 48 hours. This is real, this works, and it's built for people who want to be free. Whether you live in a studio apartment in Phoenix or a cabin in the Rockies, whether you're a single mom, a retiree, or just someone who's sick of being told what they can or can't do with their own tap, this changes the game. No more boil water advisories. No more wondering if that cloud of chemicals from the train derailment just poisoned your town's supply. No more FEMA lines. No more emergency restrictions. No more fear. Just cold, clean, pure freedom by the gallon. Listen, you don't need to be a conspiracy theorist to feel it. Something's off. We're not waiting for things to go back to normal anymore. This is the new normal. Fires, droughts, rationing, contamination, and every single time, every goddamn time, the answer from the top is, just trust the system. The same system that let kids in Flint drink lead. The same system that poisoned 1,000 families after East Palestine. The same system that watched half of LA burn because the water grid ran dry. They don't care. They're not coming to help. And if you think you'll be safe when it's your town, your kids, your fire, you're already dead in the water. But not you. Not today. Because you're staring down a choice right now. A real, meaningful, world-bending choice. You can either hope the tap stays on, hope the water stays safe enough, hope they don't shut you down when you use too much. Or you can build your own source. For less than what you spent on takeout last month, you can download the full SmartWaterBox guide right now. The blueprints, the materials list, the exact system I use to save my home and my family, and full lifetime support from me and the quiet growing underground of people just like us. You'll know how to build it in a weekend. And once you taste that first glass, once you hose your garden with water that you created, once you shower, clean, cook, and live without asking permission, you'll never go back. But I need to be straight with you. I don't know how long I'll be able to keep this page online. This isn't just a product. It's a threat. If I'm being watched, and I probably am, there's a very real chance this gets shut down. Just like my uncle. Just like the others. So if the page goes black tomorrow, if the download link vanishes, don't say I didn't warn you. But if it's still up, if you're reading these words right now, then you have one shot left. And by now, you already know this isn't just some project. It's not a weekend hobby or a cool off-grid trick. This is about freedom. Freedom from being controlled. Freedom from fear. Freedom from the kind of scarcity that turns neighbors into enemies and families into victims. When I first started working on the SmartWaterBox, I didn't plan on sharing it. Hell, I was scared to. Because the truth is, people have been silenced for less. My uncle, the engineers he worked with, even a guy I met online who claimed to have built something similar. All gone, vanished, or suddenly decided to stop talking. But after the fires, after the droughts, after the friends and neighbors who lost everything started calling me, I knew I couldn't keep this locked away. So I put everything I had into this guide. The military-based schematics, the simplified kitchen table instructions, the full tools and materials list, the build walkthrough, safety and water storage protocols, troubleshooting and upgrade notes, lifetime support, and now 2 field-tested survival bonuses to guarantee you're covered in any scenario. I could have stopped with the SmartWaterBox. That alone would have been enough to break the leash, to give you clean, drinkable water for life, without rationing, without begging, without fear. But after I released the first version of the system, I kept getting emails, phone calls, encrypted messages from people who got it, people who built the system and said, okay, what else can I do? They wanted more than just water. They wanted mastery. So I created 2 additional resources. And if you're still watching right now, you'll get both of them free when you grab your copy of the SmartWaterBox guide today. Bonus number 1, Sun Heat DIY, Solar Water Heating Blueprint. Clean water is critical, but hot water? That's comfort, hygiene, and sanity, especially when the grid goes down. That's why I created Sun Heat DIY, a complete step-by-step guide to building your own solar-powered water heating panels right at home. Inside, you'll discover how to turn empty plastic bottles and sunlight into free hot water for life. A simple, scalable design you can mount on your roof, wall, or even a fence post. The exact materials list and measurements for maximum heat retention, even in colder months. How to integrate it with your SmartWaterBox or existing water setup, no plumber required. And how to store heated water safely and use it for showers, dishes, or emergency sanitation. Forget propane, forget your gas bill. With Sun Heat, you'll be able to shower in warmth, even when the grid's dead cold. Bonus number 2, home DIY secrets. Save big by doing it yourself. The same people who control your water, they want you dependent on everything else too. That's why I'm including Home DIY Secrets, a collection of simple, powerful fixes and upgrades you can use to save hundreds or thousands every year around the house. Inside, you'll learn the 5 home repairs contractors charge $300 plus for that you can do in under an hour. How to insulate your home better for pennies without replacing windows or walls. DIY utility hacks that shrink your electric, heating, and cooling bills like clockwork. How to make your own eco-safe cleaning products from stuff already in your pantry. And how to build a home that's resilient, efficient, and damn hard to control. Because if they can't squeeze you with your water, they'll try to bleed you everywhere else. This guide makes sure they can't. Both of these resources were originally supposed to be sold separately. But if you're watching this now and you're serious about protecting your family, they're yours, free. So this isn't about business anymore. This is about building an army of men and women who don't flinch when the grid goes down, who don't beg, who don't wait, who already have what they need because they took action before the panic started. Now, if I charged what the system is worth in real-world use, $1,500 would be a steal. Because this isn't a one-time purchase like a water tank. This is water for life. No monthly bills, no filters, no dependency. $1,500 would still be less than most people spend on bottled water in 18 months, and it would still be less than 1/10 of the cost of having a well drilled, or a rain catchment system installed, or losing your home in a fire because your hoses ran dry. But I'm not going to charge $1,500, not even $500, because this was never about money. This is about waking people up. It's about punching back. It's about giving you the same weapon I used to keep my family safe when everyone else was screaming for help. So today, if this page is still up, you can get the full SmartWaterBox guide plus both bonuses and lifetime support for just $39. That's it. One time, instant download, no subscriptions. Just the blueprints and the truth. And yeah, I know $39 might not sound like much, but I promise you, it will be the most powerful $39 you ever spend. Because this isn't just about water, it's about power and freedom. Your freedom. Click the button below. Download the SmartWaterBox, build your own off-grid water system, and take yourself off the map. Because the next fire's coming, the drought's already here, and when the trucks stop rolling and the taps stop flowing, you'll either be one of them or you'll be free. So here it is. You've seen the system, you've felt the fire, and now you've got a choice. You can close this tab, tell yourself the grid will hold, tell yourself it won't happen here, tell yourself the same lies everyone else will believe, right up until the moment the tap runs dry. Or you can step out of the trap. You can click that button below, download the SmartWaterBox, and join the thousands of us who've decided we will never beg for water. Not now, not ever. This isn't a pitch. This is a warning and a way out. But it only works if you act now, before this page gets wiped, censored, or buried like my uncle's research. So click the yellow button below, download your SmartWaterBox guide, build your own water freedom device by the end of the day, and never be at the mercy of the system again. Here's everything you're getting today when you download the SmartWaterBox, the complete water box guide. Step-by-step instructions, simplified blueprints, and military-grade schematics decoded into easy-to-follow kitchen table English. Build your own off-grid water generator even if you've never touched a wrench in your life. The full materials plus tools list. No guesswork, no wasted money. Every item you need laid out clearly. Most parts are cheap, scavenged, or already in your garage. Safety and storage protocols. Learn how to safely collect, purify, and store your water long-term. No chemicals, no contamination, no surprises. Lifetime support access. Questions? Stuck mid-build? You'll get direct access to our support team. Real people, no bots, no BS. We've got your back. Bonus number 1, Sun Heat DIY, Solar Water Heating Blueprint. Take your independence one step further by making your own hot water without gas, electricity, or expensive systems. This DIY guide shows you how to build powerful solar-powered water heating panels to keep your showers hot and your water bills cold. Bonus number 2, Home DIY Secrets. Want to save a fortune without depending on overpriced contractors or broken systems? This guide hands you the top money-saving, resilience-boosting home hacks to slash utility bills, fix critical problems yourself, and take back control, one project at a time. Total real-world value, over $1,500. Your price today, just $39. All covered by my 60-day, no-questions-asked, money-back guarantee. Build it, use it, drink from it, spray down your driveway with it if you want. If you're not thrilled, if it doesn't blow your mind wide open, if it doesn't make you feel like you just declared independence from the whole damn system, just shoot me a note. Under $110 if you're buying the parts new. Most folks email me saying they spent under $90 because they scavenged 90% of what they needed from their garage or local junkyard. No $10,000 installation, no monthly filters, no hidden BS. Just one simple, rugged, badass device that makes water on demand. Number 3, what happens if I screw it up? 2 words, lifetime support. When you grab SmartWaterBox, you're not on your own. You'll get access to our support email address. Direct, no bots, no runaround. Send a message, describe your issue, attach a photo if you need to, and someone from our very real, very human team will walk you through it. We've helped thousands of people build this system. If something goes sideways, we'll fix it. Number 4, what if I change my mind? Look, I get it. We've been trained to second-guess everything, to wait, to hesitate, to say, maybe next week. Let me talk to my spouse. I'll sleep on it. But while you are thinking it over, the tap's getting dirtier, the restrictions are getting tighter, the fires are getting closer. So yeah, if you change your mind, you're covered by my 60-day, no-questions-asked, money-back guarantee. Try it, test it, use it. If you're not blown away, you don't pay. But if you're still watching this, you already know. You know something's broken. You know the next crisis is coming. And you know that when it hits, it's going to be every man for himself. This guide isn't a purchase. It's not something cool to try. It's a decision. A line in the sand. A quiet, powerful fuck you to the people who want to keep you scared, thirsty, and under control. So this is it. Click the button below, download SmartWaterBox, build your system today, and take back what's yours. Don't let another crisis catch you unprepared. Don't let your kids look up at you and ask, why don't we have water? Be the reason they're safe. Be the one who said no more. It's your move now, and the clock's already ticking.